Hello everyone, my name is Eric Jonas Swenson. This is the beginning of a set of I don't know how many mini lectures on the subject of the roots of the North American Lutheran Church, Pietism. Not all the sessions I'm going to do is on Pietism, but what is the amazing thing is that the American Lutheran Church was a Pietist church for several hundred years, and these courses are, I'll probably try to rehabilitate Pietism a little bit. What I want to do is destroy false pictures of Pietism, but I want to do it very honestly, and say at the very beginning that Pietism has a bad reputation for its excesses, and these excesses everyone does need to watch out for. But this is not a baby to be thrown out with the bathwater. And I also think, and you'll probably hear me refer to this from time to time in the sessions, is I think that Pietism would be a pretty strong, pretty good antidote to the poisons that are killing the Lutheran Church today. It is my idea that almost all of us Lutherans in North America are ignorant of the debt that we owe to this movement. It's not the case in Germany. Pietism is one of the hottest subjects, has been for the last several decades, and does not have a bad reputation. The Germans understand it as a important step in their culture, so it's very widely studied. But these individuals, these great thinkers, are greatly respected for what they did. To explore our Pietist roots, we will have to learn a little bit about this movement, which began in Germany under Philip Jacob Spener around 1670, and then how it was planted and what it looked like when it bloomed. We will do this in these 10-minute sessions, and some of the additional videos that I'll do, I'll present a different resource for you to use, different ones. So that I'll do an introduction to Bogert's The Hammer of God, and read some from it, and then also some other sections of it I'll read and give some thought starters on it. I'll highlight there's some other resources that are out there. If you find these little videos and you get excited, you can get a very inexpensive book that has these primary sources in it, selections, 3 or 4 selections per about 10 different thinkers, and it's called The Pietist, Selected Writings from HarperCollins' Spirituality series, and you can get it very inexpensive if you, for example, when I looked, it was at CBD, and it had a little dark spot on the bottom binding of it, and they were selling it for just $3.99. I have a blog called Awakenings, and I will post different resources there so that you can go to, just put Awakenings in Google. It'll be one of the first 10 hits, and in the search bar at the top you can put what you're looking for, and it should take you to it. Also, we have a website called holytrinitynewrochelle.org, and we'll have things there. Okay, now, what is proposed in these sessions is not what is Pietism so much, a little bit more particular. It's about helping Lutherans understand their Pietist roots. You might be aware of very little of these influences. If you are a Lutheran, might ask you, what are you aware of? What do you know of Pietism? I think many of you are coming up with Nothing, right? Or maybe if you're a little bit older, if you knew your grandparents, if you're from the Midwest and you're Scandinavian, you might say, you can't play cards, right? Can't dance, can't go to movies. Well, is that pietism? And I'd say, well, yes and no. I mean, if we're talking about that strictness, it might have come from pietist influences. But of course, pietism is much more than that. And of course, pietists are not the only ones. Scandinavian pietists are not the only ones who looked down at drinking, smoking, going to movies, dancing, and such. You could be from a Baptist or a Methodist, holiness, other background, and you'd have the same thing. But interestingly enough, though, these people, they are also religious traditions that were very much affected by this first generation of German Lutheran pietists that I'm talking about, because you can trace it from Spener and Franke to Zinzendorf to Wesley, and then from Wesley, the whole Methodist movement in this country, as someone can say, has said that the 19th century was basically the Methodist century. Methodists helped tame the West and more. I will see that actually, as some people like Donald Dayton say, he answers his own question, why study pietism, with the words, you must. You must. You cannot understand church history, American culture, Western culture. You cannot, the holiness movement, the missionary movement, Pentecostalism, any of these developments without understanding what pietism is. Most Lutherans today are only aware of a little bit of their history and have no idea that the history of Lutheranism in North America up to the late 1800s was predominantly pietism. It is the faith that our forebears leaned on that first helped them to have the courage to leave the old world behind, to endure the crossing, which was not only a fearful tossing on cold North Atlantic waves. Individual histories report that many of our ancestors were either robbed or quickly taken ill before they arrived at the place that they were to call their home. They had much to endure, and even those who were not affected deeply by the religious awakenings in Germany and Scandinavia found that their faith and the church took on a whole new level of importance in the New World. They built churches, schools, hospitals, and undertook the hard work of building channels to reach and help those coming after them. This is a story that Mariah Erling and Mark Granquist tell so well in the book The Augustana Story. It came out about a year ago, and I recommend that very much highly. So that's the beginning. That's the end of this beginning. Thank you for watching. God bless.